My name is Jon Victoria. I work with OSPR in Southern California. I represent the Marine Safety Branch, and what we do is we follow ship traffic in and out of the ports for San Diego, LA, Long Beach, up the coast to Port Hueneme. Following the ship traffic, and we take care and monitor some of the bunkering activities. We also do the seaplan inspections and contingency plan inspections for ships and facilities in Long Beach. The world I come from is the OSPR world, which is the Oil Spill Removal Organization. Kind of world is the response folks. I'm a response manager by trade, so I've worked for both for-profit and not-for-profit organizations over the years. So a couple of the largest ones in the country. I've been up and down our coast and also down the Gulf of Mexico. So this is a little bit about boom, techniques, skimmers, and whatnot. So obviously here the ship had a bad day several years ago. Dumped approximately 15,000 gallons of fuel into the bay up in San Francisco. So jumping right into it, boom is the first tool out of the toolbox. Generally, when there's an oil spill, somebody says, deploy the boom. If you ask the contractor, they'll say, you need more boom. It's the first tool that you use in spill response. We use it to put the oil where we want it. These guys are the guys that run out there in the tie bag. They go straight to the oil, and they have to get the oil to a place where they can remove it. It's a key component, and it's used to minimize the spread of oil, put it in a place where we can get to it, and of course protect the amenities of risk. It's been around for a long time. It hasn't changed over the years. It's pretty basic in the construction. I'll show you a couple slides on that, on the construction of it. It does require some know-how, some skill. The folks that use this are trained over and over again in the use of the boom, and they're well versed in the limitations that it brings. Okay, so we always try to go with Mother Nature, not against it. A couple different types of boom that we use is the solid-filled boom or the air-filled boom, kind of same basic principles there, or the sorbent boom. Generally, you'll see a PVC fabric, flotation skirt, chain ballast, connectors, and generally it's going to be yellow or orange. Down in the Gulf, people got creative, and we saw trucks showing up with red boom, white boom, blue boom, any kind of boom you could imagine. And then, of course, anytime you use solid-filled boom, usually follow that up with a sorbent boom. This is generally the lighter type boom, used in conjunction with the boom. It's mesh covering. It's a sorbent material, and it's usually white. Okay, so here's the solid boom construction. Most of the solid fill, the flotation part, is a polyethylene type material. Usually welded, thermally welded, with the connectors on each side. See, this will come in varying degrees of lengths. Anywhere from 50 feet, 100 feet is generally the length that you're going to see it in normal contracting boom. But some of the other boom that's constructed is up to lengths of 200 feet or so. They usually have a chain ballast in a pocket, and they're very durable, very durable. Okay, so here you see normal deployment of boom in different situations. You'll see it's usually a primary boom with a secondary boom behind it. That's why you always see the two booms together. The first one collects most of it, but you always have some residual or other factors contributing to the oil getting into the secondary boom. Here you see the amount of people that it takes to deploy some of this boom off the back of a vessel or different situations. So a lot of people involved, a lot of teamwork. Here you have some of the airfield boom. I was talking about some of the big no-fee boom. Get offshore, very dangerous to work with. Down here for years in Southern California, we used expandy boom, which is very compact. You can put it off, some of the platforms have it. The vessels can carry many of these packages, and they generally come in 750-foot lengths and just rolled up like a cinnamon roll. It's very easy to deploy. Boat takes off with one end, it unfurls itself and inflates with springs. So some of the failures. All boom is susceptible to failures. First one being entrainment, or possibly the current is coming too quick for the oil to be held in the one side. It'll hit the skirt, it'll just go under the skirt and off to the other side it goes. Another one is drainage. If the boom is involved in an oil spill, there's just too much oil coming at it, you're going to fill up that pocket and it's just going to go right to the other side. Another one is splashover. You see this if you use the too small of a boom in an offshore situation where the wave action goes up and over the boom, you'll get splashing over. And again, you're looking for those secondary, tertiary boom configurations. Planing, of course, same thing with the current. You can hit it, it can just bring up that bottom portion of the skirt. Or sometimes in a river or a small inlet situation, I know Chris battles this a lot, is just, it'll submerge. It hits it, just weighs it down, and it goes under, oil goes right over the top. Okay, so some of the correct boom deployment that you see in different situations, smaller boom for faster moving water. These folks, they use just small sections in conjunction with the river coming down the waterway there. It helps out. It helps out having the right boom for the right situation. Okay, a couple different ways to use your boom. First one being diversion, where you're looking for a place to put the oil. You're just diverting it to a location where you want it to be. The next one is containment, where once you get it head in the direction you want to be able to contain it in an area where you can work it. Exclusion, you may just want to protect an area, such as this inlet. A lot of the ACPs are showing us these diagrams where some responders use. They'll go out and they'll pre-boom places before the oil gets to it to protect certain areas. Deflection, we use this offshore a lot of times, large area that may be impacted, or if you can't get close enough into shore, you may do a diversionary or deflection where you just keep it deflected offshore to an area that you can work in. Then of course, some of the newer skimmers, it uses troil boom on the outriggers of the vessel, where you can, the skimmer is part of the vessel. You just guide that oil into your skimmer where you can collect it onto the vessel. Okay, we talked a little bit about some of the places where you want to use this boom and where you're going to deploy it from for the cruise. We always look for a safe place, first and foremost. A lot of teamwork goes into this, so you're looking for a place where your crews can work safely, easily accessible, preferably deep or slow-moving water where the current isn't taking the boom and having its way with it. And of course, a place where your vehicles can get to. Generally, you'll see trucks, trailers. A lot of equipment comes with your booming. And then you get into sorbents, which a couple different ones. You got the Adsorbent, which is a sponge-like material. You see that in the sorbent booms or the sorbent pads. First thing, somebody has an oil spill, you can see the pads fly out in a flurry, and then the responders come in and collect them. The Adsorbent is used in conjunction with the boom, sometimes on lighter end fuel residual amounts, beaches. We have a couple slides that'll show you some of the places where you might see some of we call them pom-poms. Oil snare is another oilophilia material that's used. Okay, so sometimes you'll see something like this. Somebody has an oil spill and pads go out the side. They soak up the oil. They're a great tool when there's not a lot to skim. If there's not enough to skim, a lot of people use the pads. They collect them up. What we try and do with boom that's deployed to keep the other areas cleaner or absorbing the contaminant is to line the boom with the sorbent boom. So you'll see that. You'll see a lot of the yellow boom followed by the mesh covering sorbent boom there. Just another way to look at it, sorbent boom, hard boom, and then the pom-poms I was telling you about there. On the shoreline, a lot of times you'll get that with the wave action. They'll collect a lot of oil. Okay, another up against the rocks, and of course, Randy's and the weather too. Sweet camera. Okay, so a couple different booming strategies. You'll always see the primary boom and the secondary boom lined with sorbent boom there. Sometimes you have no booming strategy where somebody runs across with a string of boom, thinking that they've got the whole thing collected. So this is sometimes what you see on your rounds on a larger spill event. People do a lot of things very quickly. You come back later, and this is what you encounter. A little short, no skirt, not doing a whole lot. Here's another one. Good intentions, probably not quite long enough to collect what you're wanting to collect. Okay, so that was the boom. In the fact that you boom the oil, now we're going to have to collect it. Okay, so now we're going to have a mechanical means to pick this oil up out of the environment. A lot of different types. These are most general types that you're going to see. Again, they haven't changed a whole lot, so there's some newer ones. There were some studies done down in deep water to bring some other assets in, some fast-moving things. These are the tried and true that I have listed up here. Most of the companies that I'm working today have these type of skimmers. Vacuum type skimmer, a weir or hopper type. The weir skimmer is placed in a stationary place where it draws oil in. It can remove a large amount of oil very quickly. Disc skimmers, more surface area with the discs, maybe used with the lighter end oil, lube oil, lighter end type viscosity. Again, stationary place, you set it in the water, run it, usually hydraulic, some of them are air driven, and it can just run and run, collect into a collection place up on shore. Rope mop used more or less in swampy areas. We don't see a lot here in California. We don't have the right environment, but they are out there. Sorbent lifting belts, like an Amarco type skimmer. Pretty popular skimmer. They're used quite extensively for open water, protected areas. You can connect boom to each side of the opening there on the front of the skimmer, and that can actually just be towed behind a couple small boats, and you can increase your encounter rate dramatically by doing that. What happens is the oil hits this belt, travels up, and usually gets squeegeed off into a collection area on the vessel. Okay, more modern type skimmer. These buddies over here have a bunch of these new ones. Lorry type skimmer. Again, it's a lot of surface area on the brushes. Same principle. As they travel through the oil, come up, they get squeegeed off the other side and then travel right back into the oil as a continuous belt. Very effective. All the skimmers have an EROS rating, an estimated daily rate of recovery rating. These carry very little water. All the other skimmers carry a lot of water with them. It makes a lot of waste stream, and it's harder to get rid of. The Lorry skimmers are very effective and are used quite extensively now. Okay, a lot of the companies will have drum skimmers. That's your basic out-of-the-box skimmer. Can be used in a lot of different environments, working environments, and very useful. Okay, so same thing with boom. The skimmers have their performances levels. You're always looking at the type of oil that you're skimming. The longer it's in the environment, of course, the harder it is to get it out with the skimmer. Wind waves, currents, all these things take into account what type of skimmer you're going to use and how effective that skimmer is going to be. We take all these things into consideration. If one isn't working, we might deploy another one. You always look at your oil encounter rate. The more encounter rate, more concentrated oil, the better off and the quicker you're going to be removing oil. Okay, here's a simple scenario is you hook up your vacuum truck to a non-collapsible hose that goes to a skimmer head, and you can be skimming in a very short amount of time. Very quick out of the box, very easy to deploy. A little harder, different skimmers. Over the years, I kept this one in here just because I want to see these guys that are Adsorbent, where back in the day, I guess we used to go into the oil, get the oil. Apparently, I thought it was funny seeing these guys just standing there. For whatever reason, they decided to get up close and personal. So these are back in the day. These are pretty old. More or less nowadays, you're going to see more of like an advancing skimmer setup. These vessels are specifically designed for oil spill recovery. And you'll see these down in LA Long Beach area. Clean Seas, I know, has the same type of setup where you send out the smaller boats. They can go in front of your skimming assets where they can collect the oil, concentrate it, release that to a vessel behind it that has this boat right here, this vessel right here has a skimmer on each side built into the vessel itself, a lorry brush where it just brings it into the side doors, up into the vessel, into the holding tank. So very efficient way to recover oil. Down on the bottom, that's a responder class. This vessel here, there's about, I think there's 16 all around the country, 15 maybe in service now. Specifically designed for that, where they can deploy a skimmer to the back of the pocket and recover it right back onto their vessel. So, pretty handy. So I said this is going to be quick. In summary, it's still the best way to get the oil out of the environment. People come up with different things. This is tried and true. It's been going on for a long time, where you deploy the boom, deploy the skimmers, oil comes up out of the environment. Your window is longer. You can operate in the spill longer, and you're not trying to set up, of course, for some of the other ways to get the oil out of the environment. It's more efficient. It's more cost-effective than letting it hit the shore. If you're on the water with the vessels, it's always a better way to do this. And it always depends on prompt, effective